Stephen Lewis is proposing a bill to immediately transfer powers in devolved areas currently held in Brussels to Cardiff after the UK leaves the EU. UK Minister's EU withdrawal bill plans to transfer the powers to Westminster initially as a holding pattern. They have rejected claims it amounts to a central government power grab. The UK government insists the relevant powers will eventually be passed on to the devolved administrations. Changes to the EU withdrawal bill, proposed jointly by the Welsh and Scottish governments, were rejected by MPs before the UK government promised to make changes when the bill returned to the report stage in the House of Commons on Monday. But the timetable has shifted, with ministers in Westminster saying that they will now introduce changes when the bill goes to the House of Lords in the coming weeks. First Minister Carwyn Jones has described the EU withdrawal bill in its current form as a fundamental assault on devolution. He has also threatened to introduce a so-called continuity bill to protect Welsh interests before the end of January unless the necessary amendments were made. On Wednesday, Plaid Cymru's Brexit spokesman Stephen Lewis will urge AMs to increase the pressure on UK ministers by backing his motion to immediately introduce a continuity bill. Whatever people thought about the European referendum, no one agreed that the referendum was about taking powers away from Wales, he said. In fact, we were promised quite the opposite. But we've seen now from the EU withdrawal bill that the Tories are bringing forward in Westminster that they intend to take powers away from the people of Wales. Mr. Lewis said his bill, if passed, would preserve the Assembly's existing powers, with any changes to relations with Westminster following Brexit to be made on the basis of partnership, cooperation and agreement. What I would have preferred would have been for the governments and parliaments of the UK to have agreed on a game plan together on how we're going to leave the EU and what life would be like after we leave the EU. But Westminster has refused to engage with us on that. If a continuity bill is to carry any weight, then it will need to have been passed in the Assembly before the EU withdrawal bill completes its legislative journey in Parliament. The clock is ticking on Welsh democracy, said Mr. Lewis. If we don't stop the Tories in their tracks now or very, very shortly, I don't believe that the changes they plan to make will be very easy to reverse. UK ministers have said they expect a significant increase in the responsibilities of the devolved administrations after Brexit, but that there is a process to go through first.